Hello. Welcome to our adventure stream here on the Onyx Path Twitch channel. My name is Mike Athey, he, him, and I'll be your host and GM for tonight's episode of Pulp Daring in Action. We're playing Trinity Continuum Adventure, the second edition. It's a 1930s pulp adventure game setting in the Trinity Continuum universe and focuses on the improbable and exciting escapades of talents, daredevils, stalwarts, and mesmerists, the sorts of characters that would inspire stories like the Indiana Jones series, Doc Savage, and The Shadow. Joining me for this role-playing session will be Sean, Drew, and Bep. So let's go ahead and have folks introduce themselves and the characters they'll be playing. Let's start with Sean. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your hero that you'll be playing tonight?
My name's Sean Creef, he, him, and I am playing the German-American stalwart Derek Miller. He is a nigh indestructible man with currently a grumpy attitude, and he's a bit of a cold shoulder now. Literally.
Speaking of which, how about Bep? You introduce your character.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Alistair Mallory, a currently very guilty international man, somewhat mystery, who has been treating a lot of this like a roller coaster ride until, oh, consequences in my face.
Yeah. We saw last session, Derek was forced to kill someone after Alistair sort of took things a little too far. And then lastly, we have Drew. Tell us a little bit about your character.
So I'm going to be playing Veronica Tilford, aka V. She's a daredevil who has parents who are daredevils and lots of money. So clearly that makes you able to do everything in the travel around the world for funsies. She also has a giant flying apartment, basically. A very fancy apartment, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The V Loft, which we will be sort of beginning the adventure aboard. So just to give the blurb for tonight's episode, we title it Crisis in Kabul. Our heroes have gotten two artifacts that may have come from an ancient visitor from another world, keeping them out of the hands of the duplicitous Poniatowski Foundation. Now they head to Kabul, following a vision of a third and final relic being in the Afghanistan capital. Little do they realize the lengths their enemies will go to acquire its power. Bum, bum, bum. So, speaking of which, we talked a little bit about this before the session, in text at least. So, I'm thinking that since we're nearing the finale of this particular arc, you guys will be more directly confronting Ivan Stainskaya. Ivan Stainskaya is, he calls himself a czar. He's a Russian of supposedly noble blood who has managed to get his hooks into the control of the Poniatowski Foundation. And it is he ultimately who's the mastermind behind the attempts to steal these relics. Given his power and influence, what do we think might be some ways that he could try to get leverage against your three characters? Any thoughts on that? We have a pretty clear idea of what might happen with Drew's character already. Do you want to talk about that, Drew?
Yeah, so we did talk about bringing the two parents into the story and kind of going with that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade vibe of chaos caused by children bickering with their
mom and dad.
Yeah,
mom and
bickering
dad
with their parents.
Yep.
No, this is how I do it. Well, that's not how we did it. And then
yes. And as established in the backstory, I think they are sort of maybe not Aether period, but in Trinity Continuum, there's the Victorian era setting called Aether. But they probably fall somewhere in between there, like the early 1900s would have been the time that they would have been active. Um, any ideas about, well, what are their names to start with?
Dang it, I need to. Luckily, this one I
I
did
mean, we
write
just,
down, so I don't even have to
oh,
make it
great.
up. I just
Right. That would be
because
helpful.
one infamous thing about me is that I'm terrible at making up names on the fly. Uh, but no, I went with Rocket Ron Tilford and Angela Tilford.
Rocket Ron. Okay.
Yeah,
Rocket Ron
again,
Tilford
it
and Tilford. Okay. Gotcha.
it is what it is. I was trying to go
All
for
right. I like
cheesy,
it.
uh,
Oh, yeah.
and I got there.
This
I got there.
this game, there's a word, corny is a good
Hmm.
word for adventure. It's a thing a lot of people don't like, but you kind of gotta lean into it in this game to really get the most fun out of it. So yeah, I'm totally on board with Rocket, Ron, and Anne showing up tonight, possibly complicating things, well, almost certainly complicating things, but also potentially being in the crosshairs of the nefarious Steenskaya.
Yeah,
How
finding
about
that
Sean?
that
Oh,
balance
sorry, go ahead.
between just being a complication and being competent in their own right, but just older and
Yeah,
kind of, used to different
yes, right.
problems.
Yeah, Dr. Henry
So the
Jones Sr. wasn't like necessarily the same kind of an adventurer as his son Indiana, but he still proved to be helpful. Anyway,
So the
sorry.
first thing that comes to mind is that um, Derek does have his false identity, where he did change his name to fight in the Great War. His birth
Hmm.
name is Dietrich Mueller. Um, that is sort of his biggest secret. Um,
Hmm.
Other than that, he does not have a lot of close ties.
Hmm.
Besides he's a man who loves his work, and his work is hunting down monsters, and sometimes, capturing them, sometimes not.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, I think if he has a secret identity, not a secret identity, but a another birth name, potentially that could be used against him, especially at this time when the I think Hitler's been elected chancellor already,
I believe
so
so. I
that
actually, yes, I
means
do have
yeah.
1 point alternate identity edge,
Okay,
so
cool.
not as high as it could be.
Yep, definitely uh, too, and the fact that it's always a sort of flashpoint for uh, games of espionage and actual full-blown warfare. I could see that secret potentially being somewhat explosive as well. Then, Bep, any ideas about what leverage Steen Sky might have on Alistair?
I think one thing that could be just generally something for the group
Mhm.
is we kind of did like a smear campaign for the Planetowski after the first little adventure we
Oh,
did, so I
right.
could see the tables being turned on that. So like,
Yeah.
oh, now the Aeon side's getting a bad name, and we're kind of getting the brunt of the fault for it. Even if
Yeah.
it's made up stuff or the same way we twisted
Mhm.
narratives around it, he's twisted his own.
Yes.
Um,
The,
and for specifically Alistair, I think it's again, it's sort of again a twisting of the narrative where all the things he did to um Philip in the last game, where it's like, oh, this guy,
yes.
what
Uh,
explorer, I don't like him.
mm,
He's not doesn't treat people well, so I'm just going to make up all these stories about him or twist all these narratives to make him at fault, and then it's doing similar things. So even if it was less a thing the group got blamed for, and even just Alistair was being blamed for kind of blowing up his name and career in this way, doesn't mean he couldn't start over. But it's kind
right.
of like the oh, again, consequences of my actions.
Right. Right. Okay. Sounds good. So let's see how this plays out. All right, so momentum is starting off. Let me get the Zoom chat here. So momentum is 3 to start with. And in our first scene, we're gonna fast forward a tad and say that you guys are already aboard the V-Loft and somewhere over Afghanistan on your way to Kabul. You've all shared a brief flash of the vision of the skyline of Kabul, and between the three of you, uh, V's manservant Daryl and the Patak fisherman Ismaya, you're able to figure out that this seems to be the location of the last final of these relics that you found. And I guess we could argue about what the motivation is. Like, I think the chief one is to try to keep these out of the hands of the bad guys, because you know that they're actively searching for them. And you discovered that firstly we had the Pearl of the Moon God, which was the artifact discovered in the first adventure of this whole series, which has the ability to affect the weather. Basically, it grants access to a dynamic gift called environmental control. So you can use it to manipulate weather conditions in your favor. And then there's the egg of the lindworm, which I looked around in the book and I found a gift that's pretty close to what it is. It's a slightly modified version of the hot or cold gift. Um, it's a mesmerist gift. And essentially, that allows you to touch things and freeze them. And it has a flaw in it that you discovered that it can backfire, basically, and sort of flash freeze not only the target, but potentially you as well. And this last item, I'll say that you got a visual image of it. It's yet another orb or sphere type object. This one has a very distinctive dark blue texture to it. It's more opaque maybe than the other two. But you don't know what it's called, and unfortunately, you don't know exactly where it is. So this first scene, some of it will involve your characters trying to pick up the trail and search around to locate its current location in Kabul. So just to give some context, historical context that we'll be using, I'm touching lightly on this because I cannot tend to be a historian or to be super informed about the politics of 1934 in Afghanistan. But suffice to say, throughout history, Afghanistan has had a lot of, in this era at least, particularly, due to imperialism, a lot of violence and coups and assassinations. And recently, 1 year ago, the king of Afghanistan, who had established a monarchist rule as an autocrat, Mohammed Nadir Shah, was assassinated. And the mood currently is tense, a little bit paranoid, particularly about any sort of rebellion or insurrection, but also strangely hopeful because his son, I believe, was 19 at the time when he ascended to the throne. Um, his name is Mohammed Zahir Shah, and he seems at least publicly to be a pretty forward-looking and progressive young idealist. Obviously, the real history is much more complicated than that, but for the sakes of our story, that's kind of what we're going with the mood there in Kabul. So um, he has made overtures to a variety of government organizations, including the Aeon Society. So you're hopeful that when you arrive, you might be able to find friends there, but there's always the risk that there could be some intrigue going on. Um, so yeah, how would you guys like to go about looking for the sphere?
Um, My immediate thought is V maybe has some doohickeys on the V loft, and we could do some not like pinpoint accuracy or anything like that, but a sort of
Mhm.
triangulation of with these three similar kind of telluric artifacts, things like that. Like all of the reg like what the energy levels or the type of energy is going to be different for sure, just because how it manifests. But there, I imagine there could easily be a similarity that could be picked up on if we happen to have or make the right tools.
Mhm. Okay.
Even if we
What
have
do you
to like
think?
go into the city and pick up materials for it.
Sure. So do we think V might have access to something like that?
I mean, I'd say yes, but also uh, easy access may be one of those questions that uh, we might want to pay some momentum or inspiration to make sure that
Yeah.
it works. It like
Um,
if I wanted it to work beyond, oh yeah, there's this doohickey that we that we have
yeah.
laying around that may or may not work.
Yes.
Then yeah,
All right. I'm gonna say to give you a little more of a challenge is you need to discern what the how the relic, what kind of material it's made out of in order to get the right reading on whatever device you're using. You know, your radio spectrometer or whatever gizmo name we want to give this thing needs to have some sense of what substance it's made of. So you can make an Enigmas plus intellect check or science plus intellect. I'll also allow you to choose to use attempt to make a path roll to react. Any of these attempts, however, will have a 1 point complication that I'm calling Ponatowski informants. Sky feelers are
Mhm.
out. He's trying to find you guys and where you're headed next. So if you don't buy that off, your presence in Kabul will be communicated to Stainskaya.
Is this a case of nominating one person?
Yeah, it's going to be one of you making this investigation. So there's just so people know in this system, you can't really fail investigation checks. They're technically zero difficulty.
Mhm.
So you're going to get the core clue so that the story can move forward. The real question is, does the complication get triggered? And how well do you do? Because you can learn more, even more information,
Yeah,
get additional evidence, things like that.
I've got six to roll if no one has better.
I got 7.
I would give it to you. It's your doohickey
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I suggested you
yeah,
might have.
yes,
yeah. So I think it's a thing where you're like, if only we had a radio spectrometer and the, presses a button and something pops out of the base of the floating apartment that is the beach left
yeah. I was
and
gonna say
starts
it's.
making little pinging noises.
I was gonna think of it more kind of like a pseudo compass. Like it points in a direction,
Okay.
but doesn't necessarily like, and maybe
Yeah.
like pings louder or whatever when it's closer, but not
Mm-hmm.
uh not
All right.
like a modern kind of like zoom in thing where it's like we found it, it's right there, and then you put your finger
Yes.
on the map, and then you
Yeah.
know
No,
exactly where it
this
is.
is all very fuzzy, radio static and, you know, like you said, maybe there's some sort of electromagnetic uh, needle
Mm.
that sort of, goes like this until it locates what it's locked on.
Yeah.
So
Best
yeah,
you might get is a direction, and it's in the city.
yes,
Yeah. Hmm.
or out of the city. That could also be it. It
That's
could be
that
anywhere.
is
Yeah.
possible. Yep. Yep.
Uh, all right, time to remember how to roll dice now. Uh, I mostly remember how to do that. What is this many? All right.
Whoa.
Hey,
Yeah. So 2 of those dice exploded, and on that you got 4 successes total.
Oh yeah.
Correct. So buy off the
So
How far
complication.
away are we at this time?
you are, I would say, it depends on where you want to be, really. I'm imagining you're on the outskirts, somewhere out in the desert. You can see Kabul in the distance, but you're not like floating directly above the center of the city.
Okay. So I would like to do my own little on the ground investigation using um, culture.
Okay.
Um, not that I can use it, but I do have a folklore specialty, so this is sort of something I know about.
Okay.
And
Well, let's.
I'm going to go to um a market or even a cafe if they existed then,
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
and sort of try and immerse myself into the local culture.
All right. We'll get to that in a second. Let's just resolve this first one. The first lead that you got 4 successes on. So you have 3 successes left over if you want to get rid of that Ponitowski informant's complication, Drew.
I
So V
do.
is able to find something out. You can use those successes to do things like do a Q&A and just ask me a direct question. You can find evidence, which can be used as enhancement on future investigation checks, or any number of other things. If you have any ideas, I'd be open to hear them.
All right. Is there a way to get? I remember we've done this before, and I can't
Mhm.
remember if it's a Story Path Ultra thing. Uh, but we could get more than just the core clue, right? Or is that
That's what this is. Yeah,
right? But I
basically,
meant like
I'll
more
get.
clues, I
Mhm.
guess, rather than
Yeah. So
investigation.
I'll tell you this. Here's what you know. You discern that the substance it is made out of is lapis lazuli, which is a valuable sort of rare stone that a lot of items in this region were had been crafted from. Even the contemporary moment, jewelry and different kinds of knickknacks and so on are often made from that substance. And it's probably also a sphere because it's been a kind of ongoing theme with all 3 of these things that they appear to be orb-like. Now, with the extra successes, you can find out more. You can ask me a question about it. The Q&A option. You can do a stunt where you get evidence, and that can be up to a 3-point evidence. Essentially, that's something that gives you a little more information about this item in the narrative, but also will give a mechanical bonus, an enhancement on future checks.
All right. So yeah, let's. So I think yeah, just go with some evidence on like I'm trying to think how many points I want to use. Probably yeah, just all 3 on kind of evidence around like where this where there's kind of like an abundance of this of lapis lazuli.
Mhm.
That is correct, right? I am having one of those weird
Yeah,
moments where my brain just went.
sure.
I said the same
Yeah.
thing you did, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But
So,
yes, uh,
and you're talking about like where that stuff is mined,
yeah.
or is it
Traditionally, in
where
this
it's
area
okay?
where it's mined, where it's
Okay.
I
All
guess
right.
also kind of traditional jewelry shops may have better ideas of
Yeah.
what's going on, etc.
Cool. All right. So your detection, once you figure out the substance, you start sort of narrowing in on it, and it does look like there's 2 big concentrations. Some of it is out in the desert, off into the mountains, and there's lots of mountains around everywhere you look. Um, there, people are constantly going out on digs and finding lapis lazuli in the hillsides. And then because it's been mined so extensively, there's a pretty significant concentration of it in the bazaars and shops of Kabul. which can lead straight into Derek. So Derek, you're down on the ground. You're checking out, see if there's any rumors or folklore related to this item. So we're going to treat this. You said you're going to use cultures.
Well, I'm wondering if there is a. Well, no, that wouldn't work. 'Cause if I use persuasion, I can't get the enhancement from the specialty. So yeah, just gonna use culture to
Okay.
sort of be that, foreign adventurer who's hanging out in the cafe,
Mhm.
listening, having a coffee, and speaking many, many languages. So at first, sort of doing that, and then if I catch a
Mhm.
clue, I will follow up on it in a
Okay.
series of cool vignettes that we don't have to actually show.
Yes. All right. So give me, let's call this cultures plus resolve in this case.
All right.
The 2 point complication here is police suspicion. So the Kabul police, after the assassination of the previous king, are definitely on the lookout for suspicious foreigners. So you want to kind of
Mm.
avoid drawing any heat from those guys. And you do get +3 enhancement on this because of the evidence.
Oh, okay. That means I don't have to search for something to give it to me.
Hmm.
And what was the actual difficulty?
As an investigation check, this actually has a 0 difficulty.
Then I
So
have
you get
5 successes.
all
So
right.
take off the complication.
It's 2. You got 3 left. So you can ask whatever questions you want. Let me give you the core clue first. So you discover there were rumors um, and newspaper stories about a spherical artifact that was discovered in Batria, which I think is to the northeast, in 1909. And it was put into the collection of one of the past rulers of Afghanistan in the 1900s, Amir Abdur Rahman Khan. So one of the rulers had the artifact, at least back in the 1900s.
Okay. Can let's see. Trying to look at the different clue information things.
Yeah.
Um, can I find out where this guy, did he live here in the palace or was he that the ruler of
Yes,
the nation?
there was a palace called the Bag-e-Bala Palace. I'm probably butchering that, but that was his the place that he commanded from. It's a old traditional Middle Eastern palace that you can
And
visit
is
in Kabul.
that still in use or is it just a historic site now?
It's been converted since then. It looks like some of the features of it have been moved more towards touristy things, but it's not as in use as it used to be. They've gone to more modern sort of capital structures for the new king's rule. But you could still visit it.
Can I possibly use those remaining successes to get access to a tour for 3?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You might even just know somebody in town, or maybe the Aeon Society knows somebody who can show you around.
Good, good.
Okay.
Not sure how I'm supposed to get back in touch with the airship. I
Oh,
just
we can
realized that.
assume that you guys
Carrier
can
pigeon.
either use I mean, just for the sake of the story, it's okay if we just say that he has some sort of radio devices that you guys can use to keep in touch.
Well, then I radio back and ask them if they want to go on a museum tour. And just so we're clear, guys, this is not just me wasting time. I actually have a lead. Not
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Do you want to hang out? No, wait. It's
Wait,
actually
yes. So
yes.
V is going to interrogate first and be like, "What do you mean a museum tour? We don't have time for that." And then say, "Oh, right, all right, sure." How hot is it down there?
I haven't noticed.
Oh,
Well,
right.
yeah, he's his own air conditioning.
Yes. So, given that, V is just going to look outside and say, "I'm assuming it's not. It's not cold."
It's a dry heat.
It's true.
Especially when your skin is super cold. But yes, V says, "I'm worried. I'll be right down." And then,
Yeah.
gets ready for uh, the desert heat out there.
So you lower your spiral staircase, landing or boarding ramp or whatever, and head down. Is Alistair coming with you?
Yeah, for sure. I forgot it was a spiral staircase.
Yes.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
spiral. Yes,
Yeah,
of course it was.
we established that, yeah. And are you doing this on the outskirts or in town? You suspect probably won't go over well if you do it
Oh
in
yeah, no.
town. Yeah.
V understands. Like, she may have learned this the hard way before, but yeah, no one likes it when you land your extremely expensive
Unidentified
home.
flying
Yeah.
object.
Well, especially if it's extremely expensive. Like, again, it's the
Yes.
combination of the two that's like one of the two is weird. Two of the two is too much.
Just an
Yeah.
affront.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Culturally
All
insensitive and also just insensitive in general.
right.
I look at all this
Uh,
money I have. I could build
that's
a
right.
flying
Sure.
home.
You wouldn't, I mean, uh, having a building, a Western Art Deco building
Oh yeah,
floating over
the
this
symbology.
this building, yeah, is not a great look.
No.
So yeah, you do it out in the outskirts. How are you guys dressing, by the way? Sounds like Derek is in his usual hunter, like, foreign adventurer kind of getup, I think.
Yeah, but um, less attention to the local environment. Just wearing a
Okay.
t-shirt, or I'm wearing
Sure.
an undershirt. I don't think t-shirts were popular
Oh,
enough
they were
yet.
around.
Yeah.
Clark Gable made them popular in It Happened One Night, which is a 1930s movie where all the people swooned when he took, he walked around in a t-shirt. They just didn't show them, and they existed. They just didn't show them because it was too revealing, I guess. Anyway,
Too
yes,
risque. You might be able to see his elbows.
exactly.
Imagine.
Yeah,
Next thing people will be wearing pants.
or shorts. Ugh. Um, yeah. So, how about V and Alistair? How are you guys dressed up?
I think V's in her kind of adventuring gear that she wore in the first episode, which is like the sort of very traditional uh, explorer stuff. Was it probably not the well? She's going to wear a hat for sure, but not the full. What are those helmets called? The little helmet hat.
Pith helmet?
Yes,
Pith?
that is correct. The pith
Yeah.
helmet. Not doing that, but
Okay.
wearing a much more casual, not quite a bonnet. I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, a casual hat with a to protect her face from uh, the sun thing, whatever that is.
Okay. How about Alistair?
Um, I think it's not very different from what he was wearing in our first go around, getting the pearl. Maybe it's just like a lighter version of the button up and things like that. Like it just is less heavy fabric wise. He's honestly just in a quite normal, maybe like business casual slacks, like a very thin button up, appropriate for the weather kind of thing. Like he probably one of the first things he does is buy um buy clothes like here in the region and stuff like that. So it's just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have to think about my wardrobe and how it's good. I'll just actually buy something from here that people wear, and that's like that must be good.
Yeah. Yeah, linen suits would probably be good, light colored clothes. Though of course, yeah, if you find some local attire, it's probably even better. Caftans and head wraps and things like that would be good for this place. Okay. So you guys, uh you walk into town from out of the desert. And yeah, you do see it's a very cosmopolitan, active city. There's a lot of history here and certainly a very distinct, unique culture. But with the current king, there's been a move towards increased westernization. So you do see a mix of, camels, donkeys, carts alongside, sedans, Model Ts, and, vans and buses of the era. And the bazaars are very active with tourists meeting with a lot of haggling shopkeepers and people selling their wares from local farms and also looms and more contemporary items, as well as like probably some sort of touristy, trinkety kind of stuff. That you guys can immediately tell is mostly not worth your time unless you're like into that. I don't know. Maybe somebody wants a postcard.
Unless you're like into that.
you know, has some souvenirs. But yeah, your souvenirs are much more
Yeah, I was
like
gonna say,
you can get pretty
Much more
wild
active.
souvenirs.
when you're in the Aeon Society, your idea of a souvenir gets way more.
Skewed.
Yes.
Sure, sure.
Ah,
So yeah,
yes, here I have prize rubber where I survived a temple falling down on me.
that's right. Yes, yeah, right. Here's some bullet casings from the guy that shot me.
Yeah.
Here's a bloodied knife.
Here's the
Holds my
blood on my
greatest guilt.
knife.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
the lady that I had to
exactly.
kill because Alistair couldn't resist trying to double cross the
Look, I got
Bonitowski group.
habits.
Yeah. All right. So maybe we see a brief montage of you traveling around in the bazaar,
Mhm.
meeting up, and while that's going, Alistair getting some local togs to kind of blend in a little more. Right. And all of you do take notice of the police presence. It's noticeable. It's not particularly subtle. Um, they are mostly armed with billy clubs and pistols, but there's enough of them, and you see them harassing even locals that just kind of step slightly out of line to let you know that while things have that kind of cosmopolitan look on the outside, deep down, there's definitely some autocracy still in effect here in Afghanistan. So you head over to the I'm pronouncing this Bagi Bala Palace, and it's a big building with domes and minarets, and you can see that they have some signs up indicating that it is the former residence of the Emir. It used to be the royal palace, essentially. That's up on a big hilltop. You can see there's pine trees everywhere, and you notice that uh, it looks like it's pretty abandoned. There's gates up around it, and there's a sign that has been taken down and put off to the side that said that it used to house the National Museum of Afghanistan, but that has been removed in 1919. And as you're sort of observing it, you do see like two policemen sort of patrolling up the street, kind of looking at you curiously as you stand over there. So,
I smile at them and wave.
okay, sure.
I'm
They give each other looks and then they sort of walk over to you.
uh I boy.
I invited scrutiny. How could I?
Are
one
they?
of them, yeah,
Would it be Dari or Pashto here?
I believe it's Pashto, but could be wrong.
Well, whichever one it is, I will use
Mhm.
that
Good call.
and explain to
All right.
them that it appears our tour guide is decades out of um, accuracy.
Yeah.
Do you guys happen to know where I can find I only know the English name for it, the big blue piece of rock?
Okay. Yeah.
Used to belong to
Title.
Emir Abdur Rahman.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's give me a culture plus manipulation check. I'm going to
Right.
put a 2-point complication on this one, which is too late. So while you've been snooping around, it's possible that Stainskaya's agents have moved into the location of the artifact already. So this is to try to get there before they do,
Okay.
It's
which could
hard
be
to beat
very
them when the
important
National
though.
Geographic calls. People just say, "Yeah, it's here."
I am going to spend an inspiration for the scale
Mhm.
because
That'll
this
give
is
you
not the best roll for me.
get 2 enhancement.
Oh, that's a very good roll, though.
Oh yeah.
2 exploding tens. 6 altogether.
Jeez. Okay. So it's only a 2-point complication. So you first thing they sort of smile at you, they look at you, and oh, you're a hunter. Oh well. And maybe one of them turns out to be a fan of yours, sort of your adventures, and wants a picture with you. Actually, do they have access to? They have cameras, sure. We'll
Yeah.
just say he has a camera. Uh, and it's like a little brownie Polaroid camera. And as he's chatting with you, you learned that all of the major artifacts in that collection have been moved to the new National Museum of Afghanistan, which was only recently, under the past king, established. And they're bragging about what a nice facility it is and how modern and like the quality of the collection and the displays and things. So they give you very precise directions to it and even offer to drive you there, I'd say.
Oh, I would be much so appreciative. Can my uh, friends and manservant come?
Which one is which?
Well,
The man is the manservant.
yeah.
The man is the manservant. V is the friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
V
take it.
is not allowed to be a manservant for various reasons.
Mostly because she'd be bad at filling the role.
Oh yeah, no.
And also,
I
I'm
think
not
that'd be number one right there. But
Yeah,
she,
and right
also
now
I'm not mad at
Alistair's
V.
yeah, exactly.
V was the one that suggested surrendering, so and
Yeah,
tried to talk it out. So
yeah. Alistair's pretty much in the doghouse with Derek right now. Oh, I
The
kept forgetting about
flying doghouse.
So yeah, I'll say that leaves you with 4 successes if you want to get more information or gain some sort of special enhancement or advantage
Is it
before you get there.
is it possible that yeah, the museum is new or whatever and things have been moved,
Mhm.
but what we're looking for is actually still in this building?
You could do that with dramatic editing. I'd say that's a 2-pointer because that will definitely make
Gotcha.
it harder for Stanskaya to locate it.
No, I was just wondering because like if this is I know like in the previous one, it was hiding in plain sight, but that was partially because he also had the cool thing of no, Derek himself actually helped get it.
yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I was wondering, like, are all these kind of in plain sight? That's interesting. So I was wondering if this was more hidden or something, maybe.
Well, I don't
But
think the
I
first
like
one counted as plain sight either.
well, that's to be fair, yes. But I'm just meaning now, 2 of the 3.
right. No, this could be an Indiana Jones situation where, the Emir or somebody realized the value of this thing and like set up some sort of strange, elaborate secret chamber.
So like when everything else was moved, this one thing wasn't.
Right, exactly, because they knew maybe it would be dangerous in the wrong hands or the right
Yeah,
hands, depending how you think about the Emir. These guys weren't the best people, is what I'll say.
yeah.
But
Well,
yeah, so how do you is this something the police tell you, or is it something that you figure out, or how do you figure this out? Like, it could be a thing that we could do as a flashback where we say, well, Alistair realized that they wouldn't just take it to the museum, and so he did some, side research and figured out there's a special spot.
I don't want to step on Sean's extra successes, but maybe that'll fold into this a bit.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, I can pass those to him as enhancement.
Sure.
cool. For on a two dramatic ending, I imagine it's just like it's a questioning of just like, oh, were there any particular wings or exhibits that were dismantled or like just didn't make it over to the new museum? And then maybe from what they
Mhm.
say, it's like, oh, that peaks out as this probably has our item, what we're looking for. So maybe it's not,
Right.
maybe in dramatic editing, it's like, yes, it's in there, but what we get is more a hint that
Sure.
it probably is in there. We don't know for sure, but
Yeah. So
enough to go
as the
look.
policemen are giving you directions, one of them mentions, "Oh, yes, well, you know how it is. Sometimes people have sticky fingers in this kind of situation. There was a whole selection of beautiful lapis lazuli jewelry that went missing.
Mhm.
Nobody really knows where it ended up, but
Oh, for
what
shame.
used to be over there." He points to one of the, east wing of the
Mhm.
palace. Such a shame.
Mhm. Can you give me one moment?
Of course. Yeah,
I
there are
am
both of you
going to
guys.
go
We got 6 successes, so it's like, hey,
speak to
our new
Alistair
friend.
in
Yeah.
This is my
uh
best buddy.
Hmm.
I'm going to speak in German.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that as an educated man, he speaks that. Uh, so it sounds like it might still be here. How about you check it out while we go on this tour so that we don't raise suspicion because I was so excited to go on this tour with them.
Mhm. I Yeah, no, I think that's a good plan. I can, yeah, I think I might take a little bit of time. I might get something less conspicuous. Like maybe they have the occasional officer go inside. If I can get my hands on their look,
Mhm.
I can be a little less suspicious.
Oh, you want them to let you in, or?
No, I was thinking if I could, maybe it's actually a bit more complex to try and get my hands on a uniform and impersonate an officer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a bit extra. Maybe it's better just
Okay.
sneak
Well, hold
inside.
on. So it's going to be 2 points of inspiration to establish
Hmm.
that this thing is in the building. So
Yep.
that's that. Somebody could dramatic edit. It could be you, it could be one of the other players. You do have 3 momentum, and V could probably manage this. You could say that you've gotten hold of a contact and somehow gotten a uniform from them.
Yeah. I mean, that shouldn't be too hard. I mean, I imagine
Yeah.
the Aeon Society does have people, maybe not what's it called?
Hmm.
Maybe not like a branch here, but at least has a few people that they know that,
Context.
yeah, that
Yeah,
one can just be like,
definitely.
hey, I know this is a weird request, but could we get the the uniform of the guards for
Yeah.
this? Uh,
Yeah.
The general police of the city.
yes.
Yeah. So Kabul police uniform, they agree to it, but they do advise you to not get caught with it because the police here are pretty rough.
Hmm.
So yeah, uh, you pass over a parcel that you happen to have on you. And did you want to use momentum or an inspiration for that?
Uh, how much momentum would it be for me? Would it be 2 or 3?
Just one.
Okay, yeah. If it's just one, then
As a
momentum.
as yeah, as a
Yeah.
Daredevil,
Oh,
it's
right.
1 for 1, and Daredevils get the cheapest dramatic edits. So
Correct.
yeah.
My brain was just. I think it's because you
Yeah.
you were talking to Alistair, and then I was like, oh wait,
Okay.
I'm an. I have different numbers.
Yeah.
All right.
And I think they can easily be covered by just, oh, I'm giving a parcel to my manservant to deal with or deliver
Yes,
somewhere,
Yes.
right,
something
yes.
like that. And
Please
then I
take
go
care
off.
of this. Wink, wink.
Nudge,
And
nudge.
so the two officers will actually go to their patrol car, open the doors for V and for Derek, and let them in. and we'll sort of cross-cut between the two groups. So we're gonna have a scene 2, so everybody gets one
Mhm.
inspiration back if they're
Hell yeah.
missing any. Does anybody have any injuries, by the way?
Yeah, we still had, and
I have
well,
two bruised.
yeah, same here.
Okay. I'm going to assume that you've managed to get some healing on the trip
Mhm.
here, so you will have one less injury level each.
Okay.
There was a fantastic first aid.
Yeah, yeah. Or, yeah,
You know,
I think you're just tough. Also, these inspired characters heal pretty quickly, especially when this when there's a cutscene. Anything can happen. All right. So now this might be a little tricky, but I'll see how I can maneuver it. I have an idea
Mhm.
for a fairly involved encounter at the museum, but since we're going to have the actual thing be in the old palace, um, we'll basically have some scene
Mhm.
with our two going to the museum, and then we'll cut over to Alistair at the old
Um,
palace.
and I think one thing before we split off, I think it'd be the last thing I maybe say in German to Derek is that if we got pointed to the actual museum, that might be where the Ponatowski are if they're not here. If they're here, definitely I'll let you know. But if they happen to be at the museum, maybe it's better to keep them locked down there until I can get this out.
Can do.
Good
of
call.
course.
And if we
All
have
right.
those radio things, we'll be somewhat able to keep each other updated, unless I go into like a lead line signal block room.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one thing to bear in mind, Alistair, you
Mhm.
do have guilt ridden. That complication is on all actions if they don't involve trying to make up for your
I
mistake.
think
Now,
I think this
this
does. I
could this
think
could count.
it's
This
yeah.
counts, yeah.
I think it's me just trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna be reliable. I'm gonna be
Hmm.
responsible. I'm not gonna treat this like it's a story. I think because
Hmm.
that's a big part of Alistair's problem, especially with he spends so much time with other
Yeah.
people. It's like making up a story, and then it's just he was a very normal person before this all started, and he just has this habit of getting caught up in it and treating it like it's not
Hmm.
actually real. And then
Yeah.
reality hits him, and he wishes he never started doing any of this in the first place. It's a cycle
Right.
he's gone over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and imagine being able to switch your face around does not help with any of that. Like,
Yeah.
I think being
Questions
a
of
mesmerist comes with a lot
identity.
of
yeah,
Yeah.
mesmerism, mesmerism comes with a lot of mental issues, I feel like.
Probably, yeah.
yeah.
All right, cool. Good insight. So I'll give you guys a point of momentum for your role playing in that scene, and then so we're at momentum 3. So we're going to
Hell yeah.
begin scene 2 with our friendly policeman driving Derek and V to the new National Museum. And as they described, it's a very upscale, contemporary looking structure, in some ways reflecting local architecture, but also sort of pointing towards, the big edifices in the West, like the British Museum or, the Natural History Museum in New York. And they lead you in through, a exclusive entrance for VIPs and start showing you around. And it's I'm imagining in my mind's eye, this museum has a kind of dark, subdued kind of quality to it, where the lights are present, but they're kind of dimmed, and there's a lot of dark wood paneling and thick red carpet, and you see in these little alcoves glass display cases that hold a very wide range of artifacts, Afghanistan's history going back to around the time of the Fertile Crescent, the earliest quote unquote civilization, and the Indus River civilization. So there are items here that go back thousands of years and range all over the place in terms of the kinds of cultures that have been here or passed through here and left traces of them. At some point, Alexander the Great and the
Mhm.
Persians and all number of would-be conquerors have passed through. So it is a very impressive collection to both of you. And as you're walking along, the the policemen are like, yes, we are very proud of our collection. Our new king is very excited to show it off to the world and to the people, of course, so they know their history. Um, and we've had many esteemed guests. In fact, I believe that we have a very special one coming to meet with the king himself.
Ooh.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Do you have any
Well,
idea
we
who
can
it is, or is
guess.
this just the rumors?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Let me say, Anne Tilford, perhaps you've heard of her. She was a very successful adventuress in the 1900s. She herself was responsible for locating some of these items and handing them over to our people, for which we are always grateful. There have been some who simply look at us as a place to come and to take what they wish. But Miss Tilford and her husband, Rocket Run, I think is what they called him.
And
Oh.
for once in my life, there is a camera pointed at me while I'm making goofy faces that my character is actually making of just like extreme discomfort. Like, not,
I have to pretend.
like, I mean, no, she doesn't. And as soon as her,
Okay.
but more just like, oh, I don't want to be I already don't want to be dealing with this. We've already got some ruthless Russian mercenaries that are very happy to just threaten to kill anyone and everyone. Uh, and now the parents are here. So yeah, she's gonna say, oh the that's very interesting. And then kind of looks over at Derek and just kind of looks like she's trying to find an answer that isn't. Uh, oh, those are my parents. Please tell everyone. Uh,
He won't say anything. Just
uh,
sort of chuckle to himself.
yeah, but she's gonna go with. Oh well, that's very interesting. Did they say why they were coming, or just a?
Oh, I believe they had been invited by an esteemed gentleman from Russia, a Ivan Steinskaya. He apparently is one of the fellows on the board of the Poniatowski Foundation, who, of course, as we all know, are a very esteemed exploratory group. I'm always fascinated by the tales of their adventures. And he'll take out like a rolled up pulp mag that is basically the magazine that the Poniatowski Foundation uses to paint their picture of what they get up to. And you see that this one shows an image of a very heroic version, a painted image of Jackson Landry holding a stick of dynamite and some cannibal savages, presumably meant to be the Batak people, that are assailing him as he holds onto a surprisingly familiar looking pearl type orb object. And it says Thunder in the Jungle.
V's
Looks like it
gonna
was published recently.
V's gonna look at that and say, don't believe everything you read.
Oh, uh, well, interesting. I suppose you would know more than I, but it is still exciting to have such people in our presence, is it not?
Yeah.
And of course, the king himself, he will be here soon. So he's walking along, he pauses, and you hear voices coming around the corner. And you see, you're near the back hallway leading into the main lobby area. So, big vaulted ceiling and columns and some very impressive statuary on display. And standing in the shadow of that, you do see Anne Tilford and a group of men, some of whom you recognize, some of whom you do not. One of them in particular is very familiar to you guys. It's Jackson Landry. He's well dressed, his hair is smoothed out. He's not looking quite as seedy as the last time you saw him, but it's hard to mistake him from anybody. He's kind of a rangy American, likes to chew on a cigar, but he's wearing a nicer suit right now. And
This
Your
isn't
mother.
his murdering suit.
Yeah,
This is
that's right.
his
Yeah.
social
This is
suit.
his Yes, his socialization suit. And so Ann Tilford, for her part, is dressed in a fairly humble clothes. I mean, she's extremely wealthy. She could dress up a lot more, but like her daughter, when she's out on adventures, she tends to dress more in khakis. And there might be a little more of a fashionability to her, perhaps, than V, I would think. Um, and she's a not especially large, but still pretty active looking older woman in her probably 50s, I would guess.
Something like
And
that.
she has, dark hair with some slight touches of silver running through it. And she's smiling and speaking with, the usual kind of um, smiles and graceful etiquette for which she is known as she talks with this group of men. So you can tell the policemen are probably going to try to introduce you to this group unless you want them not to.
I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, it's not like people aren't going to find out anyways, but yeah, especially with Landry there. I'm not going to say it's okay for us to meet, but it is it is acceptable because like, oh yeah, no, this is going to happen anyways, and Landry would see us coming from a mile away. So
Okay. So as you approach, you see Jackson Landry mutter, "Speak of the devil," and Anne turns around and smiles brightly and looks to V and calls you by an embarrassing nickname. So what's her embarrassing nickname that she gives you, V?
what could it be? Yeah, there are a lot
I'm
of
open.
embarrassing nicknames I can think of.
I'm open to suggestions from anybody in the game if you have ideas.
What was your
V.
full name? Is it Victoria or
It's Veronica.
Veronica?
Veronica.
Ronnie.
Ronnie.
Oh yeah,
Ronnie.
yeah. No,
That's
that's
it. Okay. Oh, Ronnie, how wonderful. Imagine us meeting here by coincidence. Hello, darling. And she runs over to you and, gives you a peck on each cheek and smiles at Derek. Oh, Mr. Miller. Hello. It looks like
Hello.
several of the members of the Aeon Society are here. Always welcome.
Yes. Never know who you're going to meet in Kabul.
yeah.
Indeed,
It's
indeed.
quite a
Are you
coincidence.
acquainted with Mr. Landry? And
Yes.
Jackson walks over, smiles, extends a hand, says, "Yes, we met once or twice."
Yeah.
Is he the guy from the Moon Temple, or is he the in session
Yes,
that I missed?
this is the
Okay.
guy that was throwing dynamite around.
We got on like a
Inside
boat
the
on
Moon
fire.
Temple. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He's an American sort of mercenary war profiteer type that was hired by the Ponitaski Foundation to go lead the expedition to the Moon
Yeah,
Temple.
loves dynamite.
Last you
Who
saw him,
doesn't?
he was aboard a sinking, burning ship. He left him
but
out in the South China Sea to fend off sharks, basically.
How was the swim? No, I'm not there.
you're like, uh, but yeah, no, I'm gonna steal that. Sorry, Beb. So if
Oh
he's gonna
yeah.
say, how's the South China Sea?
He twitches a little bit, his lip curls, and he says, "Well, it wasn't the most welcoming swim, but you know, it's good to have friends. We managed to get out of that scrape. How'd you manage? You doing all right?"
Can't complain.
So, and sensing something, looks between the two of you and says, "Oh, well, listen, I'm so happy that representatives of our organization, the Aeon Society, and your organization, the Ponitaski Foundation, are meeting in pleasant and, I hope, friendly terms today. We want to put on a good face for academics, field scholars, adventurers. in the presence of His Majesty, who will be here shortly, she says, raising an eyebrow and looking at both Derek and V in a not very subtle advising.
Right. Yeah, V does kind of give a genuine smile to her mom and just says, uh, of course, uh, if we don't want to turn this into some sort of fiasco.
Oh, a fiasco. No, of course not. No. We do not cause fiascos, we Tilfords.
Yeah, V with a smile just just says, yes, of course.
So I'm gonna say that your mom's presence is gonna be just for V will be a 2-point complication.
Oh
If you
yeah,
don't bite off, you potentially maybe get a little angry.
mm,
So,
mm, correct.
or, distracted. Um,
Trying
and
very
as
hard
that's
not to, not.
yes.
Mom, what are you doing?
Shut up, Mom. So yeah, we'll have a wipe transition to the dark interior of the palace, the old palace. And in the dusty interior, we see like a mourning dove or some other bird fluttering
Mhm,
off from atop a rafter up high. This place clearly was, made to be a display of wealth and power, but has fallen on hard times under the new regime, presumably because they don't, when they want to erase the memory of the old emir,
mhm,
and as such is not very well maintained, which is good and bad in the sense that it's dusty and messy, but that also means there hasn't been much attempt to secure a lot of these rooms. So you're walking along looking at some very impressive murals and mosaic
mhm.
tile work. Um, and how do you go about locating where this missing item is?
I think the kind of first stop is the more obvious. Well, they pointed here, so let's start there. Of where they
Mhm.
kind of indicated towards the east side, there was a wing where a lot of jewelry was kept, and that they mentioned specific to Lapis was a
Mhm.
lot of it didn't make it over, in
Mhm.
whatever transpired. So that's an obvious place to start. If I have to go further,
Okay.
I think I'll go through either documents or I'll look for, um, yeah, I think I'll start with documents after that if that doesn't prove anything.
Sure. So yeah, you do see that there are display cases all over the place. They're all empty. Um, you find some that are of a type that you kind of associate with jewelry displays. They're
Hmm.
kind of, either horizontal or slightly slanted for showing off under lights. Um, Lights are off, but you can tell that there's a spot that looks like it would have been where they used to be. And in fact, you may even see, despite the time that's it's only not been that long, it's like 4 years since they abandoned this building. So
Hmm.
there are,
The plaques.
sections, yeah, there's plaques, and then you also see like the sort of outline left
Hmm.
on the wood from them being, in light. And there's a darker or lighter wood around the outline, the silhouette, if you will,
Hmm.
of the items. And scanning through it, you do see one that says lapis lazuli sphere discovered Batteria in 1909. And it's sizable. It's like, it's not quite as big as the pearl, which I think I described as like a bowling ball. This is
Yeah.
more the size of, I don't know, like a baseball.
Mm.
It's very palm-sized.
Yes. Mhm.
Kind of Fabergé egg type of accessory where it's like, yes, this is my display piece on the
Yeah.
Yes,
mantle.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Just a very neat rock, very smooth,
Oh yeah.
supposedly. I mean, you could tell its dimensions more or less. But yeah, it's clearly not here, but you start looking around the vicinity to see if you see any clues as to where it might actually be. So we'll treat this as perhaps integrity plus cunning.
Hmm.
I could also say maybe enigmas plus cunning could work.
I'm gonna go with Enigmas
All right.
because between this session and last, I just put one dot in it, so it's suddenly slightly higher than my integrity.
Yeah. All right. So there's a one
Uh,
point complication of I don't know what to call it. Basically, other people are looking for this thing.
Hmm.
So if you don't buy it off, potentially they might have gotten a lead that led them here.
Yeah, I might slowly run into more and more other goons.
Yes. Yeah.
Oof. I got one success.
Okay.
That's a lot of dice too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
So do you want to try
Um,
to use momentum to get more successes, or you could use inspiration to buy some enhancement?
oh, you can do that after. Is this sort of like an investigation one where the default is 0, but the complication is on top?
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm. And it was a 2 point complication for other people?
No, it was just one. So you
Oh,
can
just
buy it
one.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll spend an inspiration to get that enhancement, and
Okay.
I'll buy off the thing. And I think with the trick, I think for like the leftover one,
Hmm.
I think maybe I'll just put it towards an enhancement to the next thing I
So
do to find it.
so you tell me what sort of Lara Croft,
Hmm.
Uncharted, Indiana Jones BS clue that they left behind that clues you into there's evidence pointing to where this thing actually is. Like, is there some
Hmm.
weird pattern in the mosaic tile? Is there something like in the plaques that's a clue?
I think it's slightly less bullshit, and then it gets bullshit. Where
Okay, sure.
I think it kind of goes to what I said. Like first thing I do is look around the space, and then I do go into those documents I mentioned, and
Mhm.
essentially it's like what I find basically things that are omitted. And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
they don't mention this, they don't mention this. And
right.
then there's the only mention of one particular area, which might be kind of on a secondary floor up above,
Sure.
and something that was more kept private because it used to be where the royalty
Yeah.
lived. And
Yep.
then it's like,
Yep.
oh, this room was temporarily being used for storage, and then it never talks about anything being moved out. And so then
Right.
when I
Okay.
go up,
Cool.
that's maybe where I find something like that, those like strange
Yeah.
patterns and something seeming off.
So
And
yeah.
then it ends up being some pathway down below the whole museum, the whole building.
Nice. All right. Very good. So I'm going to give you a point of momentum for the description. So yeah, there's a montage of you leaving that room, finding a logbook that, with some shipping crates and stuff, and you're like scanning and you're like, lapis lazuli sphere. Nope.
Hmm.
And then you see a thing about um, Emir's private office.
Yeah.
And that eventually leads you to this, let's say, so you go up a floor. It's a little creaky up here. It's still intact, but it's
Hmm.
not been used for a while. And you go into this room that at one point was probably the height of opulence, but it's been become tattered and perhaps in some ways deliberately damaged. And you're looking around and you notice that there's a light where someone wouldn't necessarily need light, and it's kind of turned at the base of it, and a panel opens. You see some stone steps leading down.
Cool. I think he takes a deep breath and he heads down slowly, not knowing if maybe there's anyone ahead. Because it's always that one thing of just you never know what someone managed to close behind them. So
Right.
maybe I run into dead bodies, maybe I run into living people, maybe I run into nothing, and
Yeah.
that'll be
It
so
could
easy.
be ants, tarantulas. Um, all right. So cut back to the museum, and we see our somewhat awkward association of explorers from the two major societies looking at each other. Anne is sort of trying to smile and do some small talk. Oh, how was the weather on your trip? I hope it wasn't too bad. How did you get here? Oh, really? How wonderful. Yes, I'm so glad that you have something of your own like that, dear. But it is a little ostentatious, don't you think? But and then
And
yeah.
how's Nastinka and Ivan?
Okay. So, for context, folks, that's the names of two Russian agents of Poniatowski that were, well, they met unfortunate ends in Sweden at the hands of both of them at Derek's hands.
Well,
So you
Ivan might still be
see,
kicking. He did a
yeah,
Michael Myers.
yes, he did vanish, but
So that was a genuine question.
yeah,
but
maybe,
half of it was
maybe
mostly genuine, and the other half was
yes,
Yes.
someone that
just a
we
little
clearly all saw get murdered.
So, yeah, Jackson coughs a little bit and squints at you like, "You're really gonna do this?" But he contains his temper and says, "Oh, yeah, I parted way with. I haven't really worked with them very much, to be honest. I mostly hired my own folks, but Mr. Steenskaya was mighty sorry to not hear from them."
That's terrible
Yeah, could be very terrible for someone. Chomps on his
for
cigar
someone.
again. And as
Attention.
he says that, there's a sound of doors opening, and you see a young man, clearly Afghani, who has short hair, um, and a very regal bearing. He's dressed in some modified military uniform. It's not so much like he's not got like a crown and an ermine cape or anything like that, but he's still polished looking, and he has the bearing that tells you this must be the new king, Mohammed Zahir Shah, and he's accompanied by an entourage of you know men in a variety of traditional clothing and some more modern suits and ties walking in, and he walks over towards you, and the policemen bow to him and say, "It is our great pleasure to introduce you to His Majesty, King Zahir." And the king smiles to all of you and looks around. He's looking around like he hasn't been here before, but presumably has. And, he sort of walks over to one of the statues and extends a hand to Anne first. It says, "Miss Tilford, we are most pleased to have your presence in our world, in our country, and in this museum. We have much to thank you for. In fact, I know a good many of the items on display here would not be here without your assistance." And she smiles graciously and takes his hand, and he turns next to Derek, I think. Says, "Mr. Miller, your exploits are known to me. I also
Your
share
Majesty.
the joy of the thrill of the hunt. Sometime we should go out in search. I could show you some of my falcons."
I've not been falconing.
Oh, it's a wonderful bond that can exist between one and a proper bird of prey.
Yes, it was
I could.
never very popular in Brooklyn.
Ah, yes, I suppose you don't have as much use for that unless you're hunting pigeons, right?
No, or rats or sewer alligators.
Yeah, he arches an eyebrow. "Sewer alligators. Ah, I had no idea that you had such unique predators in the urban jungle. You must be Veronica Tilford? I did not know that your daughter was here." And says that she puts her hands on the shoulders, says, "Yes, Veronica knew that this was an important event and wanted to make sure that she was there to help represent the Aeon Society."
And then she bows her head
Uh,
shortly, and then yeah, shakes it. If he offers a handshake, she does accept it. But yeah, she's very
mm,
kind of like nervous. While she has been around royalty before, this is pretty new to her. Like, in this kind of like as a member of the Aeon Society, she hasn't done it before, so she's
mm.
reasonably nervous that she's going to screw it all up. No, that she is representing the Aeon Society. It's like, yes, I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Ah, excellent. Yes. You have some of your mother's spirit, I sense. And Mr. Landry, you are known to us as well. He's a little more dismissive with Jackson. He's
Yeah.
notably the last of the people that he's, directly addressed. So, Jackson doesn't seem to care. But I mean, like, he's impressed, but he's not like thrown by it really. Says, Your Majesty, pleasure to meet you. Yep, that's me, Jackson Landry. Um, you know, I'm happy to meet with you. You may not know this, Your Majesty, but we did briefly encounter each other before once, some time ago. Oh, yes, the Uzbeks. Yes, I do recall. As well, that is in the past, and now you are welcome here to be part of the gathering. Um, Now, I suspect that someone else was a very important gentleman was to be joining us. Oh, Mr. Stainskaya? And as he says that, there's the sound of a cane clacking on tile floor, and you see a narrow-built man with a ungainly gait. He's clearly got some, a limp in one leg. He is somewhere in his 60s probably, but he looks a little younger than that. He's got a bald head, a monocle, and a like very pointed black beard and mustaches. And he approaches and says, "Ah, yes, Your Majesty. I'm sorry for being late for the meeting, but there are always complications on these sort of arrangements. I thank you for being patient, and I'm glad to see that we are all together, or most of us, I think. Is your associate? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on Alistair's last name. What's his
Mallory.
Mallory? Mr. Mallory will not be joining us.
No, they weren't feeling well in the heat.
Yes, well, the desert can be difficult, but I think with time one can become inured to it. I spent a great deal in this part of the world. It's part of my, in my youth as an explorer. Obviously, my country and that of the king have had many associations in the past. And the king sort of smooths out his own mustache. It's not always in a pleasant sense. Oh, well, as you were just saying to Mr. Landry, can we not put the past behind us? I mean, it is a lovely thing to contemplate, to look upon the the remnants of past greatness, but we must look forward to our futures, something that I admire greatly in Your Majesty. And he bows his head to him, and King takes his hand and sort of nods. And at this point, we're going to enter a complex task. Now, we're still keep role playing. I'm not saying we're just going to roll dice, but
Mhm.
at this point, you want to try to persuade him, the king. And there's a couple of ways to do that. You could persuade him to just say, like, can we have the spear, please? Just give it to us. We're the good guys. Maybe not in those words, but essentially that would be one objective. Another one would be just simply to say, don't give it to Snateskaya. Or, you could also plant more seeds of mistrust between them to undermine Snatskaya's operation in general. Or, to elevate your own if you wanted. But you should probably discuss out of character what do you guys want to try to get out of this meeting? Because Snateskai's goal is pretty clear. He wants the spear. He's come here to get it, and he's going to get it from the king through his influence and wealth. Unless you do something.
How confident do we feel that Alistair's going to be able to come up with it while we're here? Because my goal is to stall.
Yeah, I mean, if our goal is to stall, then I think the point is just tell him not to give it away. Like, which should be a little bit easier than the alternative of trying to convince him that he needs to give it to us.
So just buying time and making sure that he doesn't give it to Steenskaya is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And
So
I'm going to do my most Ponatowski impression of tomb raiding so that even if he doesn't give it to him, who stole it?
nice.
Just
All right.
put a bunch of dynamite all over the place. I think that's how they do that
That's
shit.
how they operate.
So this will be a complex task with 4 milestones and 8 attempts. But it's a contested task instead of me setting a baseline difficulty. Essentially, the successes that Steenskaya and his agents get will oppose your, and then whichever of you gets the more successes will gain the milestone. You get 8 attempts, and if you cannot get it done by then by default it'll go to Steenskaya. Now, granted, we've established that the actual sphere is not here, so I'll have to think about how that'll manifest. But in some ways, he'll get a leverage over it, and we'll gain some sort of advantage.
Right.
So now he already starts with enhancement due to his reputation and wealth, which gives him +2 enhancement. You guys managed to not cause any big trouble in Kabul yet, so you don't have any sort of negatives working against you there. But yeah, I will also wrap in Alistair's tomb raiding stuff as part of this. So I'll say, if you want to say that you're making progress towards getting the thing, then obviously that's going to help in the larger task.
Scheme. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
be able to. We don't have to stall as long if you have it, rather than if we're.
Precisely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting it is good.
I'll show fashionably late as always.
And then V will have mommy as a combination.
That is a sentence that is.
And then Steenskaya has a special hate on for Derek, I think, after the loss of Nestinka and Ivanov, who actually, if you know Russian naming conventions, that might give you some clue to Ivan's relationship to Steenskaya. He's also a
Uh-oh.
so it's a 2-point complication for Derek. Complication. Oops. This is confused now. All right, Derek. Steenskaya hates you. 2-point complication. And then yeah, we'll say for Alistair, because he's out of the scene and has found something that the Ponatowskis don't know about. Basically, his complication for this will just be 1-point complication for nosy agents.
Nosy bastard complication.
Actually, no, I'll change that. I'll say death trap.
Oh no.
Of course, we have to have a death trap.
It is only a 1-point death trap, so it can't be.
Yeah.
Yeah. More like a moderate danger crack.
Yeah, like a pit or some spikes that pop out of the wall, like the basics.
Yeah.
All right. I will say each of you will have to make at least one check during the course of this. So it won't just be Alistair or Alistair. You want to have a little rotation. You guys can choose who goes when, and then you roll, and then I roll. We'll compare successes.
So, do we have any enhancement for like Aeon Society stuff, our reputation, or is it just kind of?
There are edges for that.
Right.
If you don't have them, I'm going to say they do not apply here. Because as much as they've gained access to stuff via the Aeon Society, they've also gained more from Ponatowski, probably.
That's fine. So, Fame 1 and Wealth 3. Would that?
Yeah, I'd say that gives you the enhancement.
Okay.
1 enhancement for being upper crust.
Yeah. I'm good with that. And it's when you have that much money, you're used to not used to. That's the silly word, but you're more likely to talk to royalty when you are disgustingly rich than when you are.
Absolutely, hell yeah. If anything, you probably are richer than many royalty now at this stage of civilization during the Depression. Yeah.
And post World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
Nothing I have is good here, so
Well, I'm happy to volunteer as tribute because we can find out if I get hit by a death trap first thing or not.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
I-
cut to that dusty corridor.
I think it's important to know if I'm dead before we get started.
You probably
That
won't
would
be
be
dead on
something.
the first one.
Yeah, one roll is not. This is not
I don't
like
know. I'm looking at my last.
like a Gary Gygax dungeon adventure. You're not gonna
Yeah.
get bitten in half by something because you rolled that one time.
Mhm.
I'm more
Okay,
likely
okay.
to draw it out and make it harder, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah. Um, I suppose like the default role for getting this started at least is just a larceny cunning.
Yeah,
It's kind of
sounds
like
good.
the base assumption of what I do when it's not people involved.
Yep.
Larceny. So that'd be 6. Then target number 8. Explode on 10. And yeah, that should be it.
Okay.
Hope and pray, because my rolls are bad. Ooh, as I say it. 3 successes.
Okay.
well, that's not bad.
We'll roll for Stanskaya. This will represent him having agents working under him.
Hmm.
It will not use his full pool. Probably use his secondary pool for this one because that's occupied. So he gets. Oh, great. Okay. So secondary pool 7. He gets 4 enhancement for craftiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the big bad. So he's not a fighter, but he's a
Hmm.
sneaky fellow. Got a 5. You want to try to spend inspiration or momentum to try to get more than him. You're within 2 currently.
Yeah. I could spend my last inspiration to match him.
Mhm.
But then I have a death trap.
That's true. Yes.
I don't roll good enough for this.
I mean, to be fair, you
Yeah.
avoid the death trap if you take the failure, because
Yes. If you fail by default, you do not take the complication. They introduced a rule in Story Death Ultra that I'd be willing to give. Like normally a failure or is 1 momentum as a compensation, and that's it. But you can choose to do the failure with the complication, which is you get the complication problem and the failure, which is 2 momentum. Sort of like a botch,
Yeah.
basically.
Um, I think I will just take the failure, but instead
Okay.
of momentum, or if maybe it's as well as, could I ask for
Mhm.
inspiration?
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you a point of inspiration.
Hell yeah.
I'll give you
I'll
both
gladly take the
actually,
failure.
because this is going to be hard. So it's
Oh
momentum
no,
5.
that's not promising.
Well, I mean, he's rolling 7 dice with 4 enhancement. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not an equal playing ground, but
Hmm.
yeah,
okay.
we need to be heroes now, not be afraid of a little bit of dice rolling. I mean,
Dice rolling.
yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So, how do you think this plays out? You don't get hurt by a death trap, but you don't make progress towards finding the spear.
I think it's more puzzles, it's more things to solve, it's more
Mhm.
investigation needed type of things. It's more defenses that aren't active, they're just passive, like, oh, it's a maze of corridors, and then you find out, oh, there's a false wall I needed to find, things like that.
Right. I like that. Yeah.
Uh,
So
there's a lot of this that's non-confrontational, and then it's the
I
idea of one of these is gonna kill me.
All right. So I think what happens is we see you enter this below ground room, and you see like
Mhm.
there's these narrow walls of stone, and painted on the walls are these crowd scenes in
Mhm.
sort of Afghani style. Actually, no, the representational art's normally a thing. That's more like mosaic patterns.
Mhm.
And somehow the way that they're painted, it makes it confusing. It's not a hall of mirrors so much
Hmm.
as it's kind of an op art, like optical illusion kind of thing.
Hmm.
And you are realizing that you're walking in circles.
Yeah, it's designed to confuse direction.
Yeah, yep. Okay. So then who wants to go next? Oh
I,
wait. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think we can uh, at least try to broach the subject of what's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, try to introduce the idea that giving this thing away is probably a bad idea. Uh,
Mm.
so V will kind of scoot up next to her mother because, of course, and while speaking, speak to the new king and just say, I've been interested in what you in." Uh, okay, out of character. Did this thing have a cool name, or is it just a
It's got
legacy?
a kind of it's got a boring name. It's the lapis lazuli sphere.
Okay,
They don't know what it was originally called because they found it out in the wilderness, out in the mountains.
sounds good. So yeah, this lapis lazuli sphere. Could you have picked next time? Just pick a bunch of S sounds right in a row. It'll really
Oh,
add it.
this, yeah,
It'll
yeah,
add some entertainment to the
The sphere.
podcast. Yes.
yeah, the
Uh,
sphere.
but yes, the sphere. I would love to. Right now, I'm thinking of the thing in Las Vegas. Uh,
Yeah.
that's a different sphere that a lot of rich people
Mhm.
care about, and
Yeah.
no one else.
It's-
Anyways, back on topic. The sphere. I've heard about it, but uh, does it? It does seem like it's a pretty valuable and historic, uh, historic item for your country. Uh, have you found out anything more about it?
Oh, the sphere. Oh, well, if you're talking about the one I'm thinking of, yes, it was a smooth stone about this big of lapis lazuli. Beautiful, wonderful craftsmanship. Um, I'm afraid that we do not have it in the collection anymore. It was lost during the transfer from the old Emir's palace.
And then yeah,
Stinskaya says, "Oh, how unfortunate." Well, I mean, we hope that His Majesty's people would have some means of tracking it down. Do you have any ideas about where it might have ended up? And the king looks thoughtfully at Stinskaya and says, it may have ended up in someone's personal collection, or, God forbid, the black market.
so you don't believe it could have stayed in uh, the old the old castle.
Ooh. As you say that, Stinskaya and Jackson both look curiously at you, like, what does she know that we don't?
Maybe
And the
she's
king
making things
said,
up, though. You always got to think about it.
Right. And Stinskaya says, well, that's an interesting idea. I guess I suppose one could look there. Is it open to the public, however? And the king says, oh, no, 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 no. The Emir's palace is off limits and is to be untouched for the time being.
Oops.
But
There's a quick zoom in
trespassing
on
trespassing
Alistair's
is on
hand.
pain of death.
Touching those walls there, confusing my direction,
Yes.
banging my head against it, like, oh my god.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
V would just be trying to just say, well, again, just thinking of theories. Rarely do things get so lost that they cannot be found.
But Stain Sky nods, yes. In fact, one could argue that it is our duty as academics, scholars, and explorers to find that which has been lost. Do you not agree, Miss Tilford?
Yeah, V nods quickly, but then looks over at Mr. Landry and says, although perhaps the use of explosives in such endeavors could be turned down a little.
He says, well, it depends on the situation, I find. And Stain Sky interrupts this, Mr. Landry is an enthusiast for some methods that I find a bit heavy-handed, I agree. But in this case, I do not think dynamite will be needed. It's more of a case of having contacts and associations. Something that I and my association, the foundation that I serve, have access to. Of course, I imagine that you, Miss Stilford, and your fellow members of the Aeon Society have agents who could find this item. So he's searching for answers, trying to draw you out, see if you're like, if your mention of the old palace is a real clue or if it's not.
Can I use integrity and composure just to not say anything stupid as my
Sure.
action?
Yeah, that works. So Stain Sky Hate 2 is a 2-point application on this. And he gets 2 enhancement because he has the favor. So roll for him. Now, in Trinity Continuum, there's no rule against stacking enhancements, so theoretically he's getting 6.
All right.
Is there... I thought there was a cap. Oh, no, it's the...
Storypath Ultra.
Storypath Ultra has the overall cap of whatever, but I thought that this... Oh, it's single source. You can't get more than
this
5.
one, I played in some Aeon and Aberrant games where people were throwing around 10 enhancement.
Oh, okay. But
so,
I think there is a limit on 5 enhancement from any one source, but as long as you keep getting it from different stacks of stuff.
I got 1 success.
Okay.
Anyways.
Well, this guy got 10. Rolled 2 10s and an 8 and a 9. And then he got 6 on top. So, yeah, he, let's see. Oh, you didn't buy the complication off either.
Yeah.
Oof. All right. What's the consequence for the... So you do blurt out something, I think is what happens. He manages to kind of lure you into something. He's like, perhaps you, Mr. Miller, you know something about this. We've been fairly close-lipped so far.
I'm pretty sure that wherever it is would be closed and not under guarded or something. Yes. Yeah, it looks like it closed a long time ago.
Yeah. V tries not to cringe too obviously, but is very... I also failed that roll, but that doesn't count against it.
Okay. So I'm going to say, as a consequence of that, Derek is at +1 difficulty because he's kind of, he stumbled through his words. He did not present a particularly confident face. So the king is going to be a little less impressed by Derek specifically.
Rude.
Yeah. V trying to bring the conversation back to not looking in the which really at this point is just a complete change of subject. But yeah, she would just say, well, I mean, how many people did you bring with you, Mr. Stenskow? Sorry, I just looked at the word and my mouth is crying.
Yeah.
Stanskaya. Why am I? Anyways, Stanskaya.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Sky is glaring coldly at Derek for a moment, clearly still thinking about what he's cost him. And then he sort of blinks and looks over at you, says, "Oh, a small entourage, a handful of assistants, the usual one that, as your mother knows, it's always good to have assistants at hand to assist you with the things that are distasteful or a nuisance.
uh,
Though I do see that there are one or two that are missing. I wonder where they are off to."
Yeah.
King kind of raises an eyebrow at that. He's
V
clearly
raises-
like, "What? What are you guys talking about?"
raises both eyebrows,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's going to look at her mother and say, "Oh, and where is father?"
Oh, Ronald. Ronald is, I believe, in the bazaar currently, shopping for wares. You know how much he loves to collect things, even if they don't have a great deal of value. The story is worth it, is what he says.
Yes, he loves his stories. But
So, just so you know, to these milestones, give it what? How many attempts? 3?
no, only 2
Yes.
so far.
Yeah, we're
No,
still.
have you not gone yet?
I haven't gone yet, so
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I haven't done a
Okay,
roll or
sorry.
anything. All I've done is
Okay.
bullshit some.
Make
I mean,
roleplay comments.
yeah,
Yeah,
be social. That's what I was doing.
that's right.
So yeah, no, but I would like to make a. Actually, let me set this up a little bit more. But yeah, idea is I want to roll this to kind of make the king realize that Stanskaya is that's going to be the entire. Everyone's just going to click me going. Is trying to say that name in 7 different ways. But yeah, seriously, just suggests he's even more slimy and crooked than he appears even now. When he blatantly says, "Oh yeah, no, I pay people to do all the stuff, all the unsightly things."
Well, you're talking to the king of Afghanistan. He
True,
may not
but
be all that unsympathetic to that point of view.
true, but just make him seem like he doesn't have anyone else's kind of interests at heart. That he is entirely mercenary, etc. Like
Fair enough.
that is generally the direction that I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she would say, given how the locals have viewed what has happened in, why am I forgetting where it is? It was in Indonesia, right?
Yeah.
First
Sumatra.
yeah, Sumatra. In Sumatra. So perhaps we'd all like to be, a little more careful with how we handle.
Good point. All right, I'll give you 2 enhancements. So you get 1 for your money and fame, and 2 for bringing up the specific destruction of that temple. So that's 3 enhancement. You do still have the mommy complication for 2 points.
Calling it the mommy complication is also going to I'm going to remember that for years. I remember the mommy complication.
Yeah, we can all relate, I think.
Yes.
I think
Let's
one
not
level
simply
or another.
forget.
Yeah. All right.
So persuasion plus presence.
Okay.
And you said I got 3 total enhancement.
Mm-hmm. You guys have 5 momentum currently. Don't forget you can spend inspiration to get enhancement, but you can wait until you roll.
Right.
See what you get.
I was going to say, in this system, just to make sure I got this right, you can't spend enhancement for for enhancement. You can only, you can only spend momentum. Sorry, I said enhancement for enhancement. You can only spend momentum for dice, right?
That's to reroll.
Dice or to
yes.
reroll.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
So yeah, I'll spend a handful of momentum. I think like 2 or 3.
Half the pool.
Half
Let's
the
do-
pool, exactly. So
Is everybody okay with that?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I've got so far I've got the best shot to actually do something with all these, with everything that's going on, but also, holy Jesus, that's 9 dice. Now, I'm guessing I can only spend momentum once per die roll, right? Or is it?
No, you could. I believe you could spend more now on this, but you're down to 2. And
Right.
if you currently have 2 1s and no successes, that would be a botch.
And how much does rerolling cost?
Is it
1
one
per
per?
each die, I believe. I could be wrong.
Yeah, unless you have some sort of. Uh, why make
Our dice rolls overall this,
Yeah, no,
man.
we rolled really well
and-
to before.
Yeah, and bear in mind, I haven't rolled Stained Sky yet.
Right. So yeah, no, I think I'm just gonna accept that this has gone extremely
wrong.
poorly.
So, so you guys get 2 momentum. Give me a description of what happens. Is it something your mom says, or something you say, or how do you offend the king, basically?
No, it has to be something that V says. Like either either it would be interesting if
Like,
her if Anne kind of says like tries to get between the two of them just to be like, V, you're just trying to embarrass the other guest. What are you doing? And then he says, "Mother." So yeah, let's go with that.
yeah, I think she kind of loses her temper a bit.
Yeah, V losing her temper.
Yeah.
I've never.
So I'm going to say this just gives more leverage to Stainskaya. So I think you were talking about Stainskaya's comment about how he has people who do the boring stuff or the dirty stuff,
Right.
and you're talking about how you have no respect for people that rely on others instead of working for themselves, and you're like, oh wait.
Yeah.
The king's just kind of giving you a sort of blank expression. He's very unreadable for a moment, and you know that's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And it says, "Oh dear, well, I wouldn't, I don't think that we should get into a discussion of social roles or classes. That is not exactly what we are talking about right now. So perhaps we should consider our audience, our esteemed, majestic audience here."
Yeah. And V kind of. Yeah, V starts to get a little carried away, and then between that and her mother, probably
Yes. Yeah.
either
Your mother
prodding
looks,
directly or speaking
yeah.
up.
Your mother looks both uh, upset and a little worried for you when she sees you lose your temper. Like at first she's like, Ronnie, and then she's more like, oh, Ronnie.
Yeah.
So yeah,
She doesn't
it's
storm out, but she definitely has that moment of kind of like, like taking a very deliberate step backwards to kind of
yeah, and that counts as 2 attempts that were failed as a botch. So that's 4 attempts at 8.
boy.
Oh boy, we did it! We're doing great here, folks.
No,
We're
the
doing
odds are
so
stacked.
good.
It's
The
true.
adventure doesn't end if you fail this, just so you know.
That would be the worst adventure ever. I would seriously
yes.
just be like, sorry, Mike, not coming back next week. No matter what, just I'm done.
Right. Yeah. These stories are always kind of roller coasters, so this is, the low end of the curve, the drop.
This is us trying
all
to
right.
outdo the outnumbering force sort of thing, where it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's possible, but not.
You've had success so far pretty well. Not
Yes,
without cost or sacrifice, but you're on ground now that is definitely to the advantage of the enemy.
right.
Yeah.
In a
Uh,
big and mostly obvious way too. Not a.
Yes, yeah. Money and influence. So, who wants to go next? I guess
uh,
is the question. Yeah.
I'll go. I haven't gone in a
Okay.
while, and I have this death
Yeah.
trap I should try to avoid.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Um, I'm thinking I could use like cunning and enigmas this time, and then I could maybe use my case to joint larceny specialty to give enhancement. That's how it works in this one, right?
Yes, as long as you're not using larceny, you can use the how
Hell
many
yeah.
ranks do you have in larceny?
3, so it's just one enhancement.
Plus one enhancement, yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
that'll help.
and if I wanted to use inspiration to give enhancement, I can do that after, right?
That's right. You can wait and see what you get on the
Got it. Yeah, would I be able to also spend just another 2 of our momentum since it's worked so well last time for
Oh
us,
yes.
just to get a couple extra dice?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. I'll spend 2
No
of it.
objections, I'm assuming. So yes.
No.
2 momentum left.
Open for it, my guys. Ooh, okay.
What the?
Exactly 2.
3.
Oh, 3. Yes. Okay.
And then in
Um,
Skya.
I might. I was gonna say, could I spend the inspiration to get the other 2?
Well, I spent for Skya. He got 5 successes, which represents some sort of preparation that he's done. I'm going to say his enhancement with the king doesn't apply here.
Mhm.
But so you need, yeah, if you got the enhancement from inspiration, you could get how many? 5
5.
total?
I'd match him.
So even match. And they wouldn't buy off the complication. Also, you succeed if you take the complication.
I will take the complication.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna be, yeah, this is the Empire Strikes Back chapter, so I'm gonna,
No.
we're late in the second act or whatever, things had to go
Mhm.
bad.
But I was thinking something I could potentially do is I have to think about it, but I might do like something with Face of Clay where I just like manipulate my body more in a strange way to just like almost like elongating things so the poison has to travel longer in the bloodstream,
Oh,
if that makes
interesting.
sense. I won't
Sure.
maybe do it just yet because I want to
Hmm.
really look up things because I can swap into a power when
Yes, that's
we
right.
have a new story started. So I might
Yeah.
have a look while other people try some things and maybe have a better idea.
Okay. Sure. All right. You will need to make a roll for, I think it's stamina plus resolve.
Hmm.
Mm, So basically,
Also,
this is a, yes. Go ahead.
small update. I did just my OBS just restarted itself, so
Uh,
the last few minutes may be a little
um,
garbly, but
okay.
yeah, I have no idea why that happened, but it did. So
Yeah. So, give me a stamina plus resolve roll. Difficulty is 3. Basically,
Stamina.
success will reduce any injuries that you would take from the poison.
Oof. Okay, stamina and resolve. That's not the worst pool I have. Okay, 1.
You take 2 injuries from the poison. So you might be in the injured zone now in your injury tracker.
Yeah, I'm injured now.
So
It's a
I'm
lovely
gonna,
time.
yeah. So I'll say the complication for the poison will be um poisoned. So basically, it's a 2-point complication on future rolls. If you
Gotcha.
fail to buy it off, you'll take another injury
Oof.
until you're able to get an antidote or find some way to resolve it. But yeah, I think if you can
Gotcha.
get one of those other mesmerist gifts, potentially there might be something there.
Yeah, I'll take a
Um,
look.
Yeah, and if you can't find something, I'll let you use your face of clay to try to manipulate your.
MacGyver solution.
Yeah, yeah. Don't forget about dramatic editing. Do you have any inspiration left?
I have one.
Right. So momentum is now at 3. Oh wait, you succeeded. So you find the sphere.
Mhm,
You have it. You open that panel, you get poisoned, but then you see this orb made of this
mhm,
swirly kind of patterned blue rock. And you do get the sense that it has power in it, though it's not immediately clear what it is. You do feel like your
mhm.
hairs on your arms, like as you put your hands close to it,
Standing on
sort of
it.
rot. Yeah, sort of like static.
Hmm. I think I think especially with the poison, it's like they immediately like, oh, I need to move fast. So I think on a normal time I might be more hesitant to it, but I think he um just grabs it and tries to leave as fast as possible.
Cool. All right. So you guys got one milestone success, 4 attempts left, but our friend Alistair is in a bad way, and things with the king are not going any better. Though theoretically with less lethal consequence.
Mhm.
Um, so on that cliffhanger, we're going to I think do you guys want to wrap here tonight? Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Happy to.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's a good cliffhanger. One of you is poisoned. One
The
of you
conversation's not going well.
Yeah.
has sputtered out a clue to where the actual sphere is, and one of you has
Mhm.
really offended the king of Afghanistan. So,
Yes.
yeah, this is a good
Whoops.
point for you to build back up from in the next section. So, all right, folks. So, you guys get 5 XP,
All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
and we will pick up next session with the second half of Chaos or Crisis in Kabul. I don't
We're
know the
creating
name
the
of it.
chaos of
That's
Kabul right now.
yes. What would you call this next episode if you have any ideas for something?
Hmm.
Yeah.
The angst in Afghanistan.
Okay, good. There we go. That's the name of the next chapter. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. I know it was a rough one, but I like seeing your characters get into trouble so they can get out of it.
It's the whole
Yeah.
point to have trouble. You never
That's
want
right.
to just succeed all the time. You just want to succeed a lot of the time.
Yes, right. Ultimately succeed, but along the way, yeah, you can have a little downside.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's call it. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys in a week with August in Afghanistan, the next thrilling chapter of the story of the Temple of the Moon God.
All right.